Yes, my dear friends, welcome back to the channel. A very good day to you guys all out there, wherever you are. Ladies and gentlemen, one day more to the start of the World Cup. Where are you going to be watching the World Cup from? How prepared are you? Are you going to be watching it from the comfort of your home, or you are going to go to the cinema or the watch centers? Ladies and gentlemen, well, we'll be watching it right here from this studio, and we'll be giving you every update from tomorrow. The opening ceremony, Mexico versus South Africa. First game. Yes, we'll be bringing you every detail of that. But hey, before I end this video, I'll be going straight away to Chelsea right now. But before I end the video, I'll be talking a little bit more on Ghana. The Black Stars of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I'll be saying a little bit more on Black Stars of Ghana. But quickly, let's start with Chelsea. Let's start with European football. European football. Real Madrid president has issued a statement. In fact, a full statement coming from Real Madrid regarding Julian Alvarez, Atletico Madrid player that Real Madrid claimed. They've offered a bid of 150 million euros as promised by the president during the election. He promised that on Tuesday, he was going to offer 150 million euro for Champions League team player. Ladies and gentlemen, that we'll be talking about all these whiles. It just came out that player was Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Yeah, imagine city rivals, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, right? And he claimed he offered 150 million euros. Well, that offer is not in doubt. But Atletico Madrid came out, according to the report, and even from Real Madrid official announcement themselves, this is what they said. Real Madrid official statement is this. Real Madrid Football Club announced that following the meeting of the board of directors held, it has made an offer of 150 million euros to Club Atletico de Madrid for the federative rights of the player Julian Alvarez. After reviewing and evaluating the offer, Club Atletico de Madrid has expressed its gratitude for the proposal made within the framework of good relations between both clubs and has rejected it, referring to the player's release clause. Ladies and gentlemen, now, surprisingly, Atletico Madrid came out to debunk this notion that they never appreciated in the first place. They never thanked Real Madrid. They never, but what they are saying is that the player has a release clause of 500 million euros. Julian Alvarez has a release clause of 500 million euros. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Alvarez, First and foremost, Florentino Perez, has given many other teams a very bigger problem. In fact, the target was Barcelona. This man just purposely went in, offered 150 million euro for Julian Alvarez to close Barcelona from attempting even to buy the player. That is it. He purposely went in, offered that amount, knowing fully well that if he made that offer as a first offer, and he did not succeed, if the club Atletico Madrid should come out with their own price tag, there's no way how Barcelona could win that race. So they decided to to start from 150 million euros. And the moment they were rejected, the moment Real Madrid is rejected, Barcelona cannot go and offer 170, 200. Now, Atletico Madrid says the player is 500 million euros. How can Barcelona get 500 million euros to acquire the player? It's not possible. So what that simply means is that case closed. Ladies and gentlemen, now quickly, Benfica had actually confirmed Real Madrid have formally triggered Jose Mourinho's 15 million euro exit clause. Benfica has confirmed that Real Madrid has triggered Jose Mourinho's release clause of 15 million euros. Ladies and gentlemen, that simply means that Benfica had finally accepted and had agreed that Jose can go to Real Madrid. As we speak, Jose is already involved in player acquisition for Real Madrid. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose is already involved in that. Now, for you to understand, there's a picture, I don't know whether I have it here, that I want to show you. Konate from Liverpool has arrived in Madrid and has signed his contract with Real Madrid. The picture I wanted to show you, you could see him shaking hands with Jose Mourinho. Ladies and gentlemen, shaking hands with Jose Mourinho. But look, Real Madrid, they are a very huge club. They have the fans, they have the money, they can get any player they want, and players are ready to play for them. So if you don't keep your player well, they will go. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's move to Chelsea quickly. Let's move to Chelsea. Look at this player on your screen. Rafael Leo. Leo is available this summer for transfer. Currently, the player is with his national team. He is currently with his national team for the World Cup. And the player has made it very clear his interest of moving to the Premier League. He said he wants to leave AC Milan and go to the Premier League. A few days ago, I spoke about Leo here on this platform. Looking at our current left wingers, Gittins and Garnacho, I was very specific that Leo is a far much more improvement on our left wingers that we currently have. Why did I bring this topic up? There's another player that is coming up that Joko spoke about, and that is coming up. And a few days ago, I took my time and I studied him carefully. This is a Premier League product. He came from Manchester United Academy. He has played his best games from the age of 18, 19 for Manchester United. I remember Van Gaal, when he was Manchester United head coach, he brought him to the senior team of Manchester United from the academy. Jose came in. I think Van Gaal introduced him just one game. Jose came in and Jose gave him the opportunity, Jose Mourinho, then as Manchester United coach. Now, the players matured. He finally left United based on Manchester United's struggles. Sometimes they put the blame on some of these players. As we speak, Marcus Rashford is with the England national team at the World Cup. Last season, he spent the entire season with Barcelona, scoring wonderful goals for Barcelona. Watching him at the World Cup preparation under Thomas Tuchel, he is still on fire. In fact, he seems to be one of the most active players in the setup right now. As a dangerous player, he has a release clause. Barcelona had a clause to reactivate, about 25 million pounds to activate. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Marcus Rashford as Chelsea's next left winger. What do you think? Rashford, in addition to this current squad, from that left flank, Garnacho will not get any more football unless he's injured. Rashford on Chelsea's left flank, Gittins will no more get football unless Rashford is injured. Rashford is already a Premier League breed. He knows the system. And this is England, his own home country. Ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking because he is available. Now, I understand Chelsea are doing underground business based on the World Cup. And we must sell in order to buy. Selling in order to buy simply means that we don't have cash, according to the report we are receiving. But I believe the most challenge here is because of the World Cup, many players and their agents are not ready to speak. Another challenge here is also the value of the player. Though he seems to be cheap, with 30 million, 35 million, Chelsea could buy him from Manchester United. But the biggest question is, can Chelsea afford his wages? Can Chelsea afford his wages? I'm not too sure how much the player is earning with Barcelona. But can Chelsea match the same wage or top it up with a little? Currently, none of our players are earning above 300,000 pounds. None of our players, none of Chelsea's players are earning above 300,000 pounds. So if Chelsea is to go in for Rashford now, can we pay him that 250,000, 270, 300? Which, of course, other teams will be willing to buy him and pay him that 300. Even Tottenham could pay 300,000. Tottenham. But we understand the model we are playing right now, the system we are playing, the wage structure we are implementing right now. It said that we want to start from 120, 150, 170, then before we arrive at 200. If we keep doing that, ladies and gentlemen, then we need to, if we want to maintain that model or that structure, that wage structure, then let's forget about the experience we are talking about. Let's forget about we buying already made Premier League product that can get into the starting 11 and start delivering immediately as the coach wants. Any player that we want right now that will bring an upgrade on this current squad as an experienced player from the Premier League, ladies and gentlemen, I am putting it to you that we cannot get such a player below 250,000 pounds. No player. You won't talk about what is it? Morgan Rogers or who? In the Premier League, all of them, they already have, and the worst part is that we are not in Europe this season. So there has to be an incentive before we can get any good player to sign for us this season. There has to be an incentive. And if we really want to play good football, if we want to get to the top, as we are saying, then we need to start thinking about buying experience, and we should be ready to pay what the player deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just end it because I'll be back with more exclusives in the coming hours. Look at this on your screen. That is Ghana Black Stars jersey. Ghana Black Stars jersey on your screen. And we understand if we cannot win on the field, we can win outside the field. Ghana Black Stars jersey, the yellow jersey, has won the best jersey of this World Cup. The World Cup has not started yet, but the yellow jersey of Ghana, the gold jersey, has already won the best jerseys that are going to be presented at this 2026 World Cup. Whoa, seriously? That's beautiful. We should start, yes, of course, if we cannot win it on the field. But hey, guys, trust me, we didn't have the best of preparations, but there is hope. Like our coach has said, it is not about individuals, it is about a team. That is why the coach tries to work on the players with team bonding, psychological work, and a lot of physical training is currently ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, I also heard from our communication officer, Ghana Football Association communication officer, that when the team arrived in the UK, Ghanaian team, the delegation, when they arrived with the jet, with the plane, from the tarmac, they didn't go through the normal formalities at the airport like other teams are going through. The US officials came to them in a flight and escorted them. They only collected all their passport and escorted them straight into a bus at the tarmac, and they were driven to their hotels. It was the next day that all of them, their passports were stamped and brought to them at the hotel. So at least, it's not everyone that the US government, we are Ghana. We are Ghana. Our players and our delegation didn't go through even the normal formality. They collected our passport from inside the flight. They provided a bus that whisked us away right from the tarmac to our hotel. The next day, all the passports were returned. They just chopped them all in. But hey, guys, we also need to plead with the US authorities. Many people, the search at the airport, sometimes it's very embarrassing and humiliating. I'm not saying this to laugh at other countries, but I'm just happy to hear that my country, my compatriots, they didn't go through all those kind of harassment. Ladies and gentlemen, it affects morals a lot. Yes, it affects morals a lot. And we understand our first game is in Canada. Ghana's first game is in Canada. So the entire team will be moving from US to Canada, I think 3 days or 4 days to the game. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Well, let me just end it here. I'll see you guys all in the next one when you see me. Shalom and peace.